How I wish I could talk to each new mother who hasn't introduced solids and beg them to refrain from anything sweet or grain-based in the initial introduction of food, namely juice. Juice is to soda as a muffin is to a cupcake. There definitely can be a healthy juice that's fresh pressed, predominantly vegetables, and served immediately, like right after it's juiced, and keeping those antioxidants intact. Just like a muffin can be made with natural sweeteners, loads of fiber, filled with nuts, whole grains, but the majority are not of either. And candy made with juice is still candy. Granted, juice concentrates are better than high fructose corn syrup. They are still training a palate to crave sweets. So why is this causing picky eating? Because vegetables are slightly sweet, but they're not as sweet as fruits. And fruits are sweet, but not as sweet as candy. For a picky eater, vegetables are like a watered down version of something they'd much rather have. So what's the big deal about sugar? Well, if balanced with protein, fiber, antioxidants, its effect is not necessarily horrible. But the problem is most all manufactured foods have so much sugar snuck in that you have no idea the quantity you're eating and or addicted to. Sugar is addicting, but why is it addicting? And let's simplify this, and it's a hard topic to simplify. I want you to think about this lovely environment of your stomach and intestinal tract. A brilliant design, by the way, and extremely resilient. Many think the stomach needs to be a sterile environment, but that's not only impossible, it's also not balanced. Balance is the key to a healthy gut. You have more microbiota in your gut than you have cells in your whole body. In our environment, there are good and bad bacteria, there are good and bad viruses, same goes with yeast, plus there's protozoa, parasites, and yes, even worms. But this is why the body is designed so perfectly. All of these pathogens and bugs, they work synergistically. The good guys keep the bad from overgrowth and vice versa. The problem is when we overfeed the bad guys without populating the good ones. Years ago, our food was naturally loaded with good bacteria, pre and probiotics, but chemicals, harsh washing, even organic produce strip these bacteria off the surfaces. And also years ago, the natural fermentation of foods was daily a part of everybody's diet. Think this through kimchi, where every meal had some sort of fermented food in some capacity. In some commercial brands, even the process of fermentation has been sped up where it doesn't contain healthy bacteria any longer. This is best noted in sauerkraut. Originally, sauerkraut was made with salt, and its natural fermentation released loads of probiotics and digestive enzymes and B vitamins into the food. But somewhere along the way, in order to still have the taste without the effort, sauerkraut began to be made with vinegar, which incidentally feeds bad yeast and bad bacteria, and poor sauerkraut lost all its health properties. Of course, you can still find naturally fermented vegetables, but sadly only in higher end stores or health food stores. So back to the sugar. Now, when your gut balance is off, when the bad guys outnumber the good, that's when cravings begin. Now remember, there's more microbiota in your gut than cells in your whole body. You now have millions of nasty little dudes saying, "Feed me." There are two types of cravings. If you're craving lemons, maybe your body needs vitamin C, or maybe it needs alkalization, but lemons have a lot of great nutrients. So if you're craving them, it's something to pay attention to and indulge in them. It's probably a good idea. But if you're craving powdered lemonade and it's like a different type of a food product or not food product, it's likely being driven by sugar cravings. Often people say, I have a sweet tooth. Well, a sweet tooth is likely a gut florence imbalance. It's a lot of bad guys wanting the sugar so that they can be able to continue and flourish and replicate and overpower the good guys. It's addiction based, and although it's important to understand this in some capacity, I won't be getting deeply into the detail of this subject. So much has been studied and written about sugar addiction. So if you suspect this is an issue for you and you want to know more of how sugar affects our brains and how it inflames our bodies, please seek further information.